This video will cover Business Central's navigation and personalization. So when you start Business Central, you'll have a screen that looks somewhat like this. And the presentation that you're getting here is called a role center. And so if we go up to this little gear in the top that says Settings and click on this, and we go to My Settings, you can actually select different roles from the role center. We currently are using the Business Manager role center, and this is really designed around finance. But if I drill into this, I could take other things, like for example, a sales order processor. And if I say OK, this will change the look and feel of the presentation I have for a main menu or for a role center. So as you can see here, the finance options are gone. I have other options that are up here. So I can definitely change the look and feel of my role center by simply going up and of my main menu by simply going up and changing my role center. Now for some of you this may be locked, but it's important to understand that this role center is the place that you want to begin with here. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to repick the Business Manager for now. And when I do that, watch these actions over here change. You'll see different actions come up. You'll see different headers come up for finance and so on and so forth. So now I have more options here than I had before. I have a finance choice at the top, cash management, sales, those sorts of things. So this is the place to begin to customize the look and feel of Business Central that you're going to be using. Your view of Business Central may look slightly different when you click this gear. You may only see a couple of different things that you can do here. But if you go to My Settings, one of the important things is that within your database, you probably have several different companies that you can go to. Here I'm looking at Kronos US, but I could click on Kronos Canada, for example, and this company in the upper left-hand corner would change to Kronos Canada for me. So while you're working in your database, you want to make sure that you're in the right company. So for example, you may have a Kronos database set up, which is a test for you. You undoubtedly have your production environment set up. So you want to make sure that you're in the right company, and you can change from company to company by simply going to the gear, picking My Settings, and then drilling into this company drop down the Assist Edit button. The next thing that I want to show you is how you can actually navigate around and find the items that you really want to use within Business Central. So as you can see at the top, we have a row of main programs that are used here. For example, if I click on Customer, it will open up the customer list. If I escape, it goes back out. Over here under Actions, I have sales orders, quotes, purchase orders and quotes, payments, reports. And I can actually pick any of these that I want to see my sales orders. I can just click on this, and this will take me out to a new sales order over here. At the top, we have menu choices with little drop downs that say Finance, Cash Management. If I click one of these, I get a whole list of programs under the Finance area that I can work with. So example, if I wanted to see my chart of accounts, I could click this. This will open up my chart of account listing for me. Notice when I go back, these disappear. So I can look at sales budgets, so on and so forth. Under the sales area, I have a whole group of programs related to sales that I can see, included posted documents, same thing for purchasing, and so on and so forth. And anytime I click on one of these, so for example, maybe I'm working in the purchasing area for a while, and I click on this, this actually disappears. So when I click on this and get this menu up, if I want to keep this, I can hit this little pin to the navigation bar over here. And now when I open this program up, I still have all of the other ones sitting right up here on the top. So I don't actually have to go back out. If I want to look at a purchase invoice, I can click Purchase Invoices, and that drop down that was up here stays at the top. If I want to look at posted purchase invoices, I can click on that. So if I'm staying in the purchasing area and I want to keep these menus up, I can use this little pin to actually keep these menu choices up at the top of my screen. If I hit the escape key or if I click on this company name, it takes me back to my main menu and actually clears that for me. So looking at things individually from any of these areas, if I want to keep them, I can simply pin them up here. If I want to just use the drop down, I can do that also. One other thing that you'll find to be very useful here is that this option with these 3 bars or 4 bars lets me explore everything. So this actually opens up a whole brand new view that actually gives me every program that is available within my role center. So this is a complete list of everything that I want to do. And if I pick one of these, so for example, if I go to the chart of accounts and I escape out of here, I lose that view. I have to open it back up to see that kind of view again. But this, in my opinion, is an extremely useful view. I really like this one. Another feature that's nice about this menu is that I can actually find as I type. So if I type in here, I can actually find as I type, and it will highlight anything that I've typed in here, chart of accounts, chart of cash flow. So I have the ability to also search for things in this menu in order to find things quicker. So I'm going to exit out of here for just a second, and the next area that I want to take a look at here is this activities area. So at the top, we have a function that says sales this month, overdue sales invoice amounts, overdue purchase invoice amounts, and so on and so forth. Notice some of these have different colors associated with them, and this is kind of a KPI to be able to alert you to the condition that you're in terms of where you really want to be. So let's take a look at this overdue purchase invoices for just a second. And if I go to activities and I go to set up these queues, I can go down here where it says overdue purchase invoices here. And if I go out to this area and I reset this to $40,000, anything that is above $40,000 is now considered to be unfavorable. And if I close this up, notice that my bar has turned red saying, hey, this is an unfavorable amount for this particular category. And if I go back into the same place again, and I change this back to, let's make it back to 100 grand. And then I change this area here with ambiguous, and I make it 50,000. And I save this and exit. Notice that I'm at 43,000, so this is green. I'm good. I'm not in the ambiguous area between, you know, where I have to set a caution and where it's unacceptable. So I can control the color of these bars to alert myself to different conditions out here. In the next section, I have ongoing sales activity, ongoing purchases, payments, approvals, email status, so on and so forth. Self-service here, timesheets, pending timesheets, a lot of different tiles that I can look at. And one of the advantages of this, of course, is that I can again set these color warnings. But if I want to look at purchase orders, just as an example here, I can just drill into these and I can see that I have 5 purchase orders open out here, and I can see what they are. And I can see that I have 8 sales orders. So I can very quickly get to exactly what I'm looking for by simply navigating on these tiles and clicking what I want to see, and it will automatically open up the underlying data for me. There are other areas of the Role Center that you'll find to be useful and interesting. For example, there's an area here called Insights, and this is business performance. And this is top 5 customers by sales, and I can change here the period lengths. I can look at it by day, by week, by month, by quarter, by year. So I can, I have some control over what my view actually is here. I can change the view of this. So for example, I can say, show me the next chart that's here. This basically displays this as a different type of chart. I may have several of these that are out here, and I can pick the format that I like best. There may be other panes displayed, like this charge logic payment activity here. And I have this same kind of feature that I had up above, where I can choose and set the acceptable and non-acceptable ranges for these so that colors will change based upon the criteria that I set up for them. You'll probably find this to be very useful. There's an area down here of favorite accounts. So here I'm looking at my checking account, my savings account, petty cash, accounts receivable, etc. And I can actually modify this list and add to it or delete from it if I choose. Perhaps I'm interested in always knowing how much inventory I have here. So I could go to Manage List. I can add an account here. I can drop down to my inventory. And now I've actually added my inventory to this list. And as you can see, I now have my inventory value here. If I would choose to, I can also go in here and I can delete a line. So for example, I was sitting on that inventory line again, and oops, I was sitting on a line above it, and my other account is gone. But whatever line I am sitting on and highlighting, I can add and delete from the window here to get the view that I want. Another area that you'll find very useful is down at the bottom of this. You'll have something like a report inbox. And what we can do with this is that we can actually schedule reports. And so I'm going to navigate using the Find button up here, or this little lookup button here. And I can navigate to anything using this that I want to. So I'm going to look for aged accounts receivable. And this will bring up a list for me. And from the aged accounts receivable, what I can actually do is I can select it as an age as of date, a length of period to age things by. Here it's 30 days. I can set my age by to the due date of these. I can tell it to include detail. And I could set a customer number, or if I wanted to filter this by a particular customer group, dimension, whatever, I'm going to just leave this wide open. Then I can pick Send To, and I could send this to a scheduled task. And for a scheduled task, I can say that I want it to be an aged accounts receivable. I want this to be exported out to Excel. I'm going to give it a next run date formula here. So I want to run this every day, so I'm going to give it 1D. I'm going to give it an earliest start date of today and an earliest start time of, or an expiration date. This is a date time. Let's pick that a little better here. So we're going to go date and time. So it's currently 2:49 here. I'm going to run this at 14:53. So it should run about 3 minutes from now. And then I'm going to pick an ending date here for this to end, let's just say at the end of the week. But you could have this set out for a year and it would run these for you every day. And I'm going to click OK. It says a report has been scheduled. It will appear on the report index part when it is complete. So we'll go down and take a look at it in a few minutes. After it runs, it should appear down here in the box for us. While we're waiting for the report to run, I want to go look at the customer list. So this is a typical list view that would list all of the customers, and from here I can drill into a specific customer if I choose to. I also can highlight different lines here. And when I click on these different lines, on the right-hand side of this, all of my tiles will change predicated on what they have posted, open, whatever it may be. You can see that these tiles change, and this allows me then to drill into posted shipments, posted sales invoices, anything that I have going on for this customer. If I want more real estate on this line, I can click this little item up here. It kind of looks like a clock. And if I click this, if you notice that pane that was on the right-hand side that gives me all of that information per customer disappears. And if I click it again, it comes back. So I'm going to unclick it for a moment. And of course, this is a very abbreviated list of things that that are available to view on here for my customer. So if there's something here that I don't see and I want to see more, I can go up to this little button at the top that I have here and click personalization. And when I do that, if you notice a little red line comes up here. And if I click this fields menu, this will show me all of the fields that are actually available out here to show for this customer. So I could put virtually any of these things out here that I wanted to. So just as an example, if I wanted to take a look at whether this customer was blocked or not, I could take this and drag it out. And as I drag it to various places, you see the red line appear. When I let go of it, it automatically puts this field in for blocked, yes or no. When I'm finished with this, I can simply say done, and that field now appears here. If any of these customers were blocked, this would be filled in with a checkbox. So this basically tells me whether a particular customer is actually blocked or not out here. I can do the same thing to get rid of this. I can just go back to personalizations here. And I have a couple of things that I can do. One, I can't really screw this up because no matter how many things I put in here or do whatever, I can click this little button that says clear personalizations, only fields and columns and parts, or all. And I can just click on this and this will revert this back for me to my original state here. Now I'm looking at this in a tile view, and I can switch this back to a list view by simply clicking on it as I did before. Notice that my blocked is gone. So I have the ability to look at these as either tiles, tall tiles, tiles, which are much smaller, and or to actually look at it in a list. I personally prefer the list, but you have many ways in which you can actually customize this to meet your the way that you want to look at your data. Time flies and I wasn't paying attention. It's now 3:03 and our report has undoubtedly run, and yep, it ran at 2:53 just like it should have. So I'm going to click on this. Should allow me to open the file up, and here's my aged accounts receivable, and it ran on Monday, July the 5th. And this will refresh again tomorrow morning for me, or tomorrow afternoon at 2:53. This will run again, so you can schedule reports out here, and this can be a very, very useful program. I could get an aged payables, receivables. I could run this weekly, monthly, whatever I want to, and then the job queue will automatically bring these up and publish them for me when I've on demand as I've asked for them. So if I drill into this report index box, I can see that this is actually in the report queue. So this is the report, aged accounts receivable. Earliest start date for this will be July 6th. It'll run again tomorrow for me. So this is a very, very handy feature for you to be able to set up reports and run them out here on demand from your role center. The next thing that I want to do is to actually open up sales orders. So I'm going to go to sales order here. This list view would personalize just like the customer list that we looked at. But if I open one of these up, this document has various sections that are here. So you can see that there's kind of there's a header area up here, a general, there's a line area that has a bunch of line, kind of a list view here, a grid view, and then down below it has fields that are available. It has shipping, it has foreign trade. There are various areas here that I can open up and close and so on and so forth. When we go to personalize this, it's a little different than just doing a list view. So if I go up here and I click on the personalization button, I get the same kind of look, but if I click up here where I'm in the customer name and I pick the fields menu, I don't get many choices here. So I can add name, posting description, language code, so on and so forth. But if I go to this area, for example, that's here, and I click on it, wow, look, I get a whole list of other fields that I can add to various areas of this document. So the reason that I'm pointing this out to you is that it's very, if you're trying to add something into a section, like into the line area here, you need to make sure that you're focused on this area and that this whole piece is highlighted like this. Otherwise, you're not going to see the fields that you really want over here on the right-hand side and actually be able to bring those into the view. So for example, if I wanted to take the drop ship field here and bring it into the view, I can drag it over here and I can put it wherever I happen to want it here. Let's slide it back over this way just a little bit. And we'll drop it right here. And you can see the drop, whether it's a drop ship or not, that box has now filled in. And we can say we're done. And that's made that modification for us. I could go back in here to personalization again, and when I personalize this, I could take something like this dropship field, and up here I can actually drag this around, so I could move it over. Now it's been slipped into this particular position, so from here you can drag these around into the various positions that you want to. You can click done. And when you do that, of course, they've been placed into the menu where you want them again. So when you're dealing with various types of documents, list views, or these more complicated forms where we're actually looking at a sales document instead of a list view, you have to be careful where you're clicking and where you're going to drag and drop things. Another thing I'd like to cover is that if you have something, let's just look at, for example, an aged accounts receivable or payable. So I'm going to go to aged accounts receivable, and when I open up a report like this or any sort of page, if you look at the top, you have these little icons that are up here. And this one will allow you to add a bookmark to your role center. So if I click on this, what this has done is it's actually added a bookmark to my role center here. And now I have an aged accounts receivable report that I can pick right from my main menu. So now, without having to go search for it, I can simply pick accounts receivable, and then I can run it from here. You can add as many of these as you want to your main menu. They're called bookmarks, and it just makes customizing your role center much easier and makes you more efficient. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, remember to click below and subscribe for more.